Hello there, Giancarlo, student IED here. Welcome to Beyond the Talent, a brief slice of time where alumni such as myself gets to know a little bit more about the talent of incredible IED alumni all around the world. Today I'm here with Marta Iglesias, a former management master student and the actual co-founder of Recovo. Marta, our aim with these talks is to search for insights and inspiration that young minds can use to pursue their future careers, and that's why together we're going through some key themes and moments that can be relevant for the future of yes students all around the world, taken from your experience. But first, I know Recovo. Well, I've known Recovo for a long time because as the admin of Student IED, we've sometimes it happened to us to do some promotions about your service. But what I want to ask you now that I've met you for the first time is, what is Recovo? How did you get there? And what are the events that led you to co-found it in 2021?
Okay, Recovo is a B2B SaaS that gives circular solutions to the fashion industry in the end of life of raw material. We are three co-founders and we are all used to work in the fashion industry. Well, we work in the fashion industry actually. And that was our background, and we realized during our work that there were a lot of garment production after it were raw materials leftovers considered waste. And instead of using them, they were just hitting us waste. So we decided to first create a marketplace to interchange these materials that were perfectly to solve this problem, but then quickly we pivoted to a SaaS.
Okay, to a SaaS, SaaS, software as a service.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And what led you to do it? Like, what brought you together? How did you meet your other co-founders?
Well, we with Gonzalo, we both are from Madrid. We live in Barcelona, but we both are from Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
We used to go to school together. We weren't friends, but we knew each other. He moved to
Okay.
Barcelona, and we reconnect. And but not really to found anything, just to connect and say, hey, how are you in Barcelona? Monica used to work with Gonzalo, and she moved also to Barcelona. And from we all three were working in the fashion industry. We had really interesting conversations around fashion industry, and that's how we started.
And you were like, it just clicked, and then let's found it together. Let's do this because it just clicked.
The first one who started everything was Monica. She was like the brave one, the one who quit her job and started everything. For me, it was a bit later. I quit my job when the platform was ready to be launched, and for a little bit later. He entered when the company was going to be invested. First, the three of us, we were since the beginning, but the different moments of being involved at 100% with the project were different.
Okay. So you all got inside in different moments. Going back to your YED years, Marta, before everything started, how has your education at YED influenced your current approach to your job?
Okay, so at IED, I did a master degree in fashion management. Okay, that it gave me the basics of knowing how to manage a fashion company, and I had the luck to be a student of teachers who were experts in the sector. They weren't just teachers. And with all the subjects, we did a tour around all the departments of a fashion business. So later, I started in buying, production, and operations. As we did this tour, knowing all the departments and knowing how other departments work, I realized later that this gave me a 360 degrees perspective that in the end is essential in the operations, because when you do a change and when you do apply a movement, you need to understand how this change affects to all the stakeholders in the company. So
Definitely.
It helped me a lot.
Definitely. And the fun thing about this is that at one point something happened, because you were once a student, but if I'm not wrong, now you're a teacher at YED in the fashion buying and production.
Yes, I'm really happy. Yes.
It's very recent too. You started in April, right?
Yes. Yes, I did. You know,
And it's bad. When I think it fits you so well, and I was wondering, what would I expect to learn? Because I'm not there with you. So why would I expect to learn it from you if I were in your class?
well, you would learn how everything works. For me, a fashion company is like a chain. So you start with friends, with the design, but then a big part and a big moment is the production moment, which gives you a lot of problems and headaches. And if you plan it in the buying process and you do a good buying process of having a range plan and having everything structured and doing a proper negotiation with your suppliers, then your production is going to be smoother. So that's what you will mainly learn.
Okay.
All for sure
Okay. So it's a
related
lot about
with sustainability. But for
yes,
me,
of course.
sustainability is something that is it's kind of granted. It has to be there.
Yeah. So, because of course you take Recovo is all about circularity. So
Yes.
I wanted to, in your opinion, I had a talk with another ex student. Her name is Serena Bonomi, and she's an advisor for circularity. She advises company how to follow up a more circular approach to things. And I asked the same question to her, but I'm gonna ask you this question. In your opinion, and in your expertise, what does it take to achieve real circular innovation in the fashion industry? I mean, with Recover, we're doing amazing steps.
Hmm.
But Recover might be a start as an answer.
It is, but in the end, it's an external solution. And for me, the first step is inside the companies and with the people who run the companies, because we tend to forget that companies are based and built by people. And if they take and assume their responsibility that they have and that their actions have consequences, I believe everything would be faster, because I believe sometimes that circularity or sustainability is not really taken seriously. It's taken as a trend. And if they would assume their responsibility, this like as a first step, everything would be faster. In this case, Recovo is a great solution for the second point. But first, the companies need to take action.
Do you think it has to be an action that has to come from inside of them, or something that at the end of the day is going to be forced by some law?
I believe in the innovation curve. There will be people who are innovators, who are takers, who are the ones who are going to take the innovation and apply to it. But there are some of them that they are laggards and they are going to need that force of the laws in order to apply all these things.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
I
understand.
don't see legislation as a bad thing. I see a legislation as like the last option and the last effort to make a movement. But I do really think that it has to come from inside first.
So, what are some major changes that you noticed in your work field since you started this activity?
Well, first of all, and because we just talked about it, the concept about sustainability for sure. When I studied, it was something that you could start hearing the conversations, but it wasn't as important as it is now. But second, and I think that is the biggest change, is the technology. When I started, online shopping was just a small percentage of the shopping. Mobile shopping wasn't even a thing, which right now it's really big.
Does it affect a lot your work field specifically?
It is. It does affect. Yes.
If you getting a little bit, for the good old time's sake, if you were to meet your past self, okay, and by your past self I mean the Marta from the master degrees time, and also the Marta that was about to found Recovo, because you've had some other very very interesting experiences before. I saw that you worked with Tropic Feel, which is a brand that it's amazing to me, and it's also very mysterious because I always see it through advertising. They do amazing advertising in Italy. I have to meet one person that has one product because I don't know if I'm in the right target, but whatever. This is I'm also talking about the Marta that work with them. What's one advice that you would like this Marta from the past to know, and one thing that you will purposely omit to allow the Marta to grow as a resourceful person that you are today?
Okay. I think I wouldn't omit anything. I know maybe this is a
Okay.
cliche, But I
Okay.
think if you omit something, maybe I wouldn't be the person that I'm now. I mean, you
Uh,
are yourself with the mistakes and with the game, with the fails and the games, you know? So if you omit something, you maybe are someone else.
but for example, what I mean is maybe in the past you had like a tough work experience that maybe
Mm-hmm.
was caused by you being very very proactive. Because you were so proactive, people maybe started thinking that you do other things, but you actually wanted to concentrate on something. But at the end of the day, you needed to know that mistake to be the person you are today. So you know, if you went back to say to Marta, hey, so you're an amazing person, you will do this, and I want you to make it quicker. But I'm not gonna tell you everything in life because you have to do some mistakes. So what makes we're
Maybe
getting deep?
maybe I would
We're getting
say
deep here.
maybe I would say to know when to stop. I'm not so stubborn, but I'm really perfectionist. Another cliche. I'm a workaholic. I work a lot. Sometimes you need to know when to stop it. Later, when you are older, you look back and you check your problems and you think, okay, maybe this didn't worth that much effort. But you wouldn't know until there is some time that it's passed. Yeah. And
If I went back in time to know the Marta from those years, I would tell Marta, look, on in 2004, the 12th June, just mark the date you have an interview. I will tell her that.
and one thing that is really good that I learned a lot, it's just try it. I Because of being perfectionist, I wanted to have everything like perfect and ready, and you don't need it to start something. You just can do an MVP. You don't have to have a perfect product. You just try. Do not spend that much money, and check if it's working, and then just do these prototypes and change these prototypes to have the perfect product. Usually you do the other way around. You look for the perfect product and then you start making change to the perfect product until you get to an MVP. And you have to do it the opposite way. You have to start with the MVP to end up with a perfect product.
One hot take. We want to ask this because we wanna do a montage of all the answers in the end. My take is okay. What's your preferred laptop? Do you use a Mac or a PC? Mac vs PC. Which one is the best one?
Okay, I'm going to be hypocrite because I'm
Yes.
using
So you're using a Mac, but you also have a PC. Sorry.
and I'm not applying into my life. But Power BI, you cannot have it in a Mac, and Excel for Mac is not as good as Excel for PC.
I
Those two
I
tools.
like this takes Power BI. I think you're one of the few people that I've ever talked to that has mentioned Power BI to me. The other day I was because I work in a startup. I have a startup and we have to do some data analysis. I was like, Power BI. I'm in love with Power BI. You can visualize data so well. Oh, let's try it on Mac. There's no app for Mac.
No, you cannot use it. It's forbidden.
It
Yeah,
is
it is.
forbidden.
And
Oh, you're right.
I'm a data geek. I love data, and I love to analyze data, and it's really useful. And I love Excel. Here in my laptop, I use Google Sheets instead of Excel, which is kind of helpful.
Yes.
But and
Yeah.
even startup, it's good because everyone.
So, what do you think will be the next challenges in your work field? We're going back and forth between, YED and work field. We're doing a lot of flashbacks and then coming back here. But what do you think will be the next challenges?
Well, for me, first one, I believe because of technology that we are not going to create data models. We're going to maybe analyze those models, but not create them. That's going to be a change. I think the change has already started, but little by little it's going to be bigger because it makes no sense to have people analyzing the data if you can have machines doing it and then the people having critical thinking analyzing it. Also about the Recovo, but what's happening with the waste. We know a lot about recycling, for example. We know a lot about what we expect to happen in the end of life, but we don't know if the garment that we are wearing can be recycled, actually, because of composition, because of mixing of fabrics and fibers. There is a chance that your t-shirt cannot be recycled. So for me, the next big challenge is for designers and for buyers, that it's to create garments that from the very, very first time, you know what is going to happen because of the way that it has been created. And
Okay, so
of
people can
being
be
totally
more.
circular.
So people can. So a good challenge will be to have people be more about what they're wearing and how is it made of and where it will end up.
Yes and no. I think people have to be conscious, but I think in that way you are giving the responsibility to the consumer, and I think that the responsibility relies on the companies.
Oh,
The
I'm
consumer
clipping
impact,
this. I'm clipping
the
this. I like
consumer
it.
impact, the consumer impact is really small. I mean, for sure, if you join all the consumers, it's really big, but the company's impact is much bigger than the consumers, and we tend to make the consumer be guilty around sustainability. And it's something that it's more for the companies and not that much for the consumer.
I like it. I like the stake. You know, one time I was arguing with a friend that the term carbon footprint was invented specifically to make consumers guilty about what they do. You may say yes or not. I mean, we do live in a carbon footprint. I mean, but
It's impossible to live without carbon footprint in the end. It's the
it
company
is.
the one, yeah, it is the company the one who makes the biggest carbon footprint. So a small change is the same as a small change in your life and in a company's life. It's going to be more impact in the company for sure. Also, connecting with the previous answer, if the people in the company is not connected with the scope of sustainability, there's where greenwashing starts. Because for me, greenwashing is not something that it's planned because companies are evil and they are trying to sell polyester saying that it's cotton. It's because they don't have enough information, and so it's something that it's their responsibility and they need to change it. But it's not usually because of doing it in purpose. It's because they lack of knowledge around the product or the material.
Okay, I really like it. I really like this response. Really like it. I'm so gonna clip this. So at the end, we're getting a little bit at the end of the interview, Marta. So what advice would you give to YED students? Actually, let me rephrase it. What advice would you give to YED students all around the world and your students that aspire to follow a growth path like yours?
Okay, I'm going to give an answer and then you later tell me what you think about it, okay?
Yes, I will. I'm your acquired student from Italy.
I would say if you want to create your own company, first go inside other companies, learn everything from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top, because their mistakes are maybe your learnings. I listen a lot of people who want to just from going out from being a student and going and create their own company, which is great, but they are missing the opportunity of learning everything from the competence.
Yes. Okay.
That would be my advice.
You want my opinion? Okay. Okay. You want my
but
opinion?
It's controversial. Yes, it's controversial. I know some people think.
I mean, I feel I agree with you 100%. I actually do agree with you. But and this is the same advice you would give to your actual students that you're giving to your actual students.
Can you repeat? To my actual students?
This is the same advice that you're... Yes.
Yes.
Are you...
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
They will definitely hear this interview and they will be like, oh, okay, yes, he said that to us.
100%. I mean, we are really ambitious when we are younger, and it's good. It's something that we shouldn't lose, but it's a pity to do not learn from the ones who are next to us.
Okay, that's very nice. Marta, thank you so much for your time. I mean, I think there's a lot of things to learn from you, and there are a lot of things to learn, especially the last part. I love this so much for your experience and for what you said. And I really hope to catch you up in the future. We'll see each other on LinkedIn and on the Beyond the Talent format. So thank you so much, Marta.